Hey guys, this is your host Rabbit, and welcome to another Conquest of Azeroth 1-30 class showcase, today featuring the Barbarian. The Barbarian is described as just a simple melee damage dealer that has good cleave and fast-paced burst, and they use energy as a resource. Overall, my thoughts on Barbarians before we get into it was that they are very strong. They have a very fast-paced playstyle, and anyone who likes the normal combat rogue would probably like Barbarian because they kind of have a roguelike system with their carnage stacks being kind of like combo points because they improve the damage of the rest of your abilities. They don't have any stealths or anything, but overall, if someone's looking for like that really fast pace, have a lot of buttons to click, attack very fast, then Barbarian's probably going to be your go-to. They are a little bit weak in terms of sustain. They're pretty much glass cannons in the fact that you're not going to be able to restore any of your health, and you only have one defensive cooldown, so if you don't kill your target quickly, you're going to wind up just getting taken out. But that being said, let's jump straight in and take a look at the starting abilities. Starting off at level 1, we get Barbaric Strike. It's a 40 energy cost instant cast. Strike an enemy for weapon damage, plus 39 to 41 additional physical damage, and apply carnage to the target twice. We also get the buff Ancestral Might, blesses your party with Ancestral Might, increasing their attack power by 40% of their agility for 30 minutes. And lastly, we get the passive Savagery. Your melee strikes grant you 5 energy and reduce the cooldown of Wrecker by 1 second. If you are below 20% health, your melee strikes also restore 1% of your maximum health and generate an additional 5 energy. Your critical strike damage bonus is increased by 10%. In addition, your critical strikes will enrage you for 5 seconds, granting 25% increased melee attack speed and movement speed. At level 4, we get Crushing Slam. It's a 30 energy 10-second cooldown. Slam your weapon over enemies in a frontal cone, dealing 84 to 99 physical damage to each. Consumes Carnage stacks to increase damage dealt by 15% per stack. This is the ability that I was talking about that kind of makes you feel like a combat rogue, because you're going to be spamming your Barbaric Strike to build up your Carnage stacks on someone, and then you're going to be consuming it all with a Crushing Slam. So kind of that roguish gameplay minus the stealths. At level 7, we gain Warcry. It's a 25 energy 30-second cooldown. You unleash a blood-curdling Warcry, increasing nearby allies' attack speed by 20% and movement speed by 40% for 10 seconds. Affected allies also regenerate 10 energy every 1 second for the duration. At level 10, we get Wrecker. It's a 60 energy 50-second cooldown. You rush at an enemy target and smash them with your weapon, dealing 220% weapon damage and reducing their armor by 20% for 8 seconds. At level 13, we gain access to Massacre. It's a 40-second cooldown. You enrage for 12 seconds. For the duration, your auto attacks will generate 1 stack of carnage on the target, and your critical strike chance is increased by 10%. At level 16, we gain Brutal Swing. It's a 35 energy 5-second cooldown. You swing your weapon in an arc, dealing 72 to 81 physical damage, and a frontal cone applies carnage to all enemies hit. At level 19, we gain access to the, in my opinion, useless ability, Val'kyr Ressurection. Call upon your ancestors to send a Val'kyr battle maiden to you. The Val'kyr will resurrect all nearby players within a 30-yard radius for a short duration, and can be cast while dead. So it says a short duration. I think that might be a permanent res, so maybe this is be like nice wipe protection later on. I've had actually 0 use for this the entire time that I've been playing. At level 22, we get Axe Throw. It's 25 energy, 1.8 second cooldown, and it can be up to a 30-yard range. Hurl your thrown weapon at an enemy target, causing 1 additional physical damage and increasing the critical strike chance of your next headhunter's axe against the target by 20%, stacking up to 5 times. Adds 1 stack of carnage to the target. All ranged barbarian attacks gain 5% increased damage for every stack of carnage on the target. The cool thing about this ability is that barbarians are actually looking to have a ranged spec to where you can actually sit in range and DPS from range the whole time, which is looking to be like a really cool concept, because I've always said that on retail WoW they really should give warriors the option to be like a berserker class that like throws axes and all that. So seeing it in Conquest of Azeroth is really cool. Hopefully they can flourish it out later on in the game and it'll be a good spec to run. At level 25, we gain access to our first defensive ability, Ruthless Redoubt. It's a 1-minute cooldown, reduces movement speed and damage taken by 40% for 7 seconds. While active, enemies that strike you with a melee attack will suffer 42 to 49 damage. At level 28, we gain Impaling Leap. It's an instant cast 20-second cooldown. Charge an enemy and gore them with your weapon, dealing 200% weapon damage and causing them to bleed for an additional 30 to 37 physical damage every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. And lastly, at level 30, we gain Whirling Advance. Whirl up to 10 yards, dealing 50% weapon damage to enemies struck and stunning them for 0.5 seconds. This ability removes any root effects when used, and it's on an 8-second cooldown. Now that we've covered all the abilities and you've got to see kind of what they can do, I'm going to go ahead and roll some PvP clips. That way y'all can get an idea of what to expect when you're playing a Barbarian in PvP Battlegrounds. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. I had a really good time playing the Barbarian here on the Conquest of Azeroth Alpha. This is looking to be like the type of class that is going to be really dependent on gear, and I've seen some crazy numbers put out by the top Barbarians on the server. So if you're looking for a fast-paced melee class to take on the world with, the Barbarian is your best bet. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell down below so you'll be notified for when I post my next video. This is your host Rabbit, thanks for watching.